Real hot girl shit. And if the beat live, you know Lil Juke made it. Body yaddy 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 yaddy. Body yaddy 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 yaddy. Body crazy, curvy, wavy, big titties, little waist. Body crazy, curvy, wavy, big titties, little waist.
Hey. Hey guys,
Hey guys, welcome back.
I mouthed it with you.
Thank you.
I wanted to feel like what it would feel like to have your voice for a second. Welcome back to 11 Free. And if it's your first time joining us,
Where the hell have you been, Loca?
please don't say that again.
But I just did.
I'm going to ask Nico to cut that out
Oh my,
because that was disgusting. That scene makes me cringe a lot.
I love it.
Why?
I love Twilight.
Yeah. I don't know how this one's going to go.
This is gonna be a funsy doozy. We're
Oh my God. Hi, Jasmine. We also have our first audience member in the room today. But I feel like this is going to be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
I just really hope that it doesn't we have 6 listeners, but I hope that between the 6 of them, okay, we have a lot more than that. 150,000 bajillion. But I hope that it doesn't come off as combative and that nobody's like, this is what happens when 2 girls get together and get some mics and they make a damn podcast and all of a sudden they're talking about sex. Yeah, welcome to episode 4. We're talking about
Body count.
the body count debate. Oh, this is very much gay son or thought daughter.
I want both. I want both.
One of each, please. I want to be challenged. No, so obviously as women, we don't get to do nothing without garnering some sort of criticism that is far from constructive from,
Without being a whore.
Basically, she said it in a lot shorter. Why use lot word when few do trick? Please tell me. Jasmine, somebody. No, The Office.
Don't be about.
She's so fucking cute. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about the body count and how it affects literally
Everything.
Yeah, because it does. I don't do body count conversations myself. I honestly don't really care unless
Bruh.
I'm just kind of curious. Were you or were you not? Were you a hoe? But
Nah.
it's never within the space of judgment. It's just kind of I just want to know, and also how many times between those people did you get tested?
True.
Because I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. Do you have? Is that important for you on a first date or something?
No,
Why
it's not. Because mind you, guys are the ones that are asking us this, and they have a obscene amount of bodies stacked up on each other.
Just to clarify, we're talking about sex, not murder.
I mean,
that was stupid. I'm sorry, but no, I'm asking because I feel
I don't think I've ever asked. I mean,
women do.
I've asked in a relationship, but months later, I'm as a
I'm comfortable now. I've done that too. But how about you, Jasmine? Yeah. You be asking?
You ask?
Oh, in a relationship. Yeah, but if it's the first date, are you gonna be yo, how many people have you had sex with?
Mm.
Right. I would. My first question typically, if I am going to participate in intercourse, is when's the last time you got tested? That's more important.
That's the most important thing than asking how many bodies you have.
Girl, because you could have 50 bodies. And if you've gotten tested 3 times, I'm going to ask a lot of questions. Do you not care about your health? Do you not care about mine?
Mm-hmm.
Is sexual gratification more important than your health? So on and so forth. But what are some typical comments that you hear on social media from anybody? It could be men or women. Because I've heard women too shame men for being little thought pockets.
Mm-hmm. I mean, men get applauded for having
Yes.
more bodies than a woman. A woman.
One woman.
Honestly, I'll be damned if someone tries to slut shame me with the amount of bodies that I have, because it's why? Why does it
There's no
matter?
point, yeah. I think my favorite thing that like I hear when it comes to the body count debate is like, oh, she's loose. Do you look how mad I am? Yeah, correct. Like, do you understand how I it's gonna
Have a
be so
wide set
stupid what I was gonna
vagina.
say. No. No, how elastic the vagina is. And I've pushed a baby out of my
Hoo-ha.
and it's fine. Trust. Like we're good. So the idea that you think that your mediocre 5 incher, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to be nice because I understand that my parents could see this, but this is a little bit deeper than me just talking about like having sex. It's just like the idea that women we don't get away with shit, bro.
No.
Because let me ask you a question. How this works is that basically they want you to be a virgin in the streets, a whore in the sheets, but like actually physically and sexually a virgin. How? Because then this is the crazy part. They have sex with an inexperienced woman or girl if they're like teenagers, and they tell the whole school or they tell their whole group chat, "Yo, she sucks." And I'm just gonna make a quick little comment. Did she come?
That part.
Probably not. So it's safe to say that it takes two to tango badly. Um, what do you hear any other stupidity like that? Because that's one of my favorite ones. Like it's like throwing a hot dog in a hallway, and I'm like, why do you have a hot dog? Like let's start there. I'm sorry, not like a you know what I mean.
What was the question? I got sidetracked with the hot dog and all.
Men
Like
will
it-
fuck anything from a McChicken to a Hot Pocket or a jar of peanut butter, but they fix their mouths to say something as asinine as, she's loose.
You're just not big enough at that point.
Whoa, wait. To all my men, all three of you listening, we don't body shame men. I have, so sorry, mom. But I've been with a wide range of people. Wide range. I've been with more than a couple of people, and shapes and sizes are different. But I have to, yeah, and I have to say, like,
We don't discriminate.
we don't discriminate. One, that does not matter. Like, genuinely, size does not matter. See how we're sitting here placating to these men, but God forbid you have more than 3 bodies. All of a sudden, you're freaking Mary Magdalene prior to Jesus. So I don't really. I'm really trying not to spaz, but do you have anything to add to the body count? Have you had any conversations or anything like anecdotally that you can draw from? That was a lot of words.
Honestly, I honestly have not dated a lot of men. Or honestly,
Have you dated mostly women?
yeah.
Okay, and we don't care about that, so we don't.
Yeah, because when I've been with men and I've been with women,
Mm-hmm.
and when someone asks, I literally say both or men or women. What do you want to know? Because I don't care. Oh, general audience, don't take it down. Don't take it down. She's gonna take it down. Put it on the back. Put it on the.
Being pansexual is like, well, not the ages part. Oh my god.
No.
Just in general.
All
adults admitted. Yeah, all adults admitted. I had one conversation one time with somebody, and they were like, "Wait, so you've had like more than X amount?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Is there a limit? The limit,
The
does,
limit
not
does not exist. No. But the person that I had this conversation with was like, "Oh, so like you had more than this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Is that the benchmark for purity?" I'm confused. Didn't I f up the purity the first time I did it? But his point was more like, "Well, I just feel like you're a lot more experienced than I am." I'm like, God, "Geez, like I worked at a brothel in Germany." Like, I'm like, "No, I mean, it's not about that." I feel like a big reason why men are so, how do I put this, insecure about, and insecure is not even like the right, I really want to tread lightly because I want to be educational. I don't necessarily want to be confrontational, but the body count debate is stupid for many reasons because usually the person that is asking, I'm so outside of the context of being transparent in a romantic relationship, is doing it to assuage their own guilt,
Mm.
like their own self guilt. Does that make sense? Like their own shame, not
Yeah.
guilt. Because typically the men that I've been asked by are men that are like, for the lack of a better word, like more on the promiscuous side. Like they've had a lot of partners. And meanwhile, when they tell me I'm not really threatened, like I said, I usually bring the focus back to sexual health. Are you getting tested? When is the last time you got tested? What protective measures are we taking? And I wasn't always, I mean, not to be funny or anything, but I wasn't always so careful. Now, like obviously I'm a mother. I've matured, you mature, like, I don't know when everybody lost their virginities, but I feel like I lost it way too young. So I was very unprepared and very uneducated. Not because I didn't have the education at home. It was just, there's one thing to hear, okay, this is anatomically this. And then there's another thing to actually be in that experience.
Yeah.
But I feel like partly to blame is kind of the patriarchal and religious society where like men get to cheat. And no, I'm not saying that everybody agrees with this obviously, but men get to cheat, men get to sleep around, men get to do whatever.
They want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multiple wives, or like, they got granddaddy, they got three different baby moms, and like they got hella siblings, which like whatever, shit happens. But the point is that that's excusable. But God forbid a woman has reached sexual maturity and has decided to venture outside of just one partner. It'd be great if you meet one person and you hit it off and you guys have a relationship and then you never have sex with anybody ever again. That'd be great, right? That'd be the ideal situation where you don't have to, as they say, give it up to multiple people. But the truth of the matter is, with dating comes failure. With sex, even with one night stands, comes a lot of failure because that's usually people you'll never see again, so you don't care about how they feel during the act. Shitty, but it's true. And this is why I don't know if y'all have seen me rant on this about this on Twitter, but I rant about how like casual sex does not benefit women. It's not because it's not a good thing and women shouldn't do it because we're supposed to be holy. No, it does not benefit us. It doesn't feel good half the time. The people that we are enjoying or trying to enjoy the time with are not going to take the time to learn. Not everybody's like this, but it's very rare that you have a one night stand that cares about you.
They don't.
I feel like I should call my therapist about that. I said that's so sad. No, but like it's just that. Like I feel like the body count debate is useless. But that is, it kind of is a very obvious point, and we could probably just end the video there. But it goes a little deeper than that. How many of the men that have asked you, you can coin as insecure?
All of them.
And how many of them were faithful?
None of them. And believe it or not, the
It's
ones
shame.
that are the ones that are asking are usually the ones that have extreme numbers.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
And it's just like, why are you asking? I should be asking you. But
They want to see if they're coming into a relationship where they're inferior or not. Does that make sense? Like in the morality sense, I feel like sometimes it's asked like. I feel like the body count debate sounds a lot more like, how much of a good woman are you? Whatever like the nice guy versus the good woman. Like, how much of a good woman are you? Like, are you just very prudish and you don't have sex, but will you open your legs for me? Like, well, it does, to me, it doesn't really make sense because it's like, you would not be having this conversation with me if it wasn't for the fact that we will have sex.
yeah,
So
pretty much.
you're okay with the idea that somehow you entering me is making me unclean and unholy, just as long as it's you. But God forbid, as a 24-year-old woman, I've had more than one partner fail me in the same way that you're about to fail me in 15 minutes. I'm really trying to be nice. It just doesn't make sense to me. And like I'm raising a son. And
He will know better.
yeah, sex positivity cannot go one way. Sex positivity can't be men could have sex with all the women in the world, but a woman can't explore her sexuality in that sense. I'm not saying like in sexual sexual orientation. I don't know. I feel like we've had our fair share of a-holes. And which one of you was it that said like the ones that be asking? Oh, you said it just now. Like the ones that be asking be the ones that have the most. It's like the idea behind the person that accuses you of cheating all the time.
And they're the ones cheating.
They're the serial
It's
cheaters.
denial.
So now I have to ask, if you're so worried about body count and about purity, then why is it that 9 times out of 10 the people that ask these questions the most fervently are the people participating in unfaithfulness? You hear that? Crickets.
And I would be I'd rather be asked, what's your status? Or
Yeah.
when was the last time you got like that? I would respect you more and probably would be more willing to give it up if you asked me that.
Because it's like you care about your health. This is not going, I mean, anytime you have sex, it's a risk, but this is not going to be more of a risk than I signed up for. But I don't know. I feel like, why are we not teaching men as well to be chaste and to not have sex with so many women? Why is promiscuity celebrated in the male gender, cis male gender, but in women it's you get ostracized as Hispanic women. I don't know why the fuck I stuttered, but think about it. As a Hispanic woman, we typically grow up what? Yeah, but like as far as belief systems, what do we grow up? I hate it here. Religious,
Oh,
Christian, Catholic. Like we grow up.
gender roles.
Yeah, and then immediately we are put into a box. Like I'm immediately, and it's all right, babe. You're my little daughter, my precious little thing, my little princess. I love you so much. You're gonna grow up and you're gonna meet a man, but before you meet this man, you're gonna save yourself, right? Imagine you get down to your wedding night.
The disappointment. And I think about that. How many women out there are so disappointed? Be like, God damn, I'll have this for the rest of my life.
Do you buy a car without test driving it? Do you buy a car online? And you say, you know what? I really like this car. I really like this make. I really like this model. I'm gonna go ahead and sign a lease for 4 years at 29.7% APR. I think that's a good idea. No, there's too many risks involved. You don't know what it's gonna be. Sexual chemistry is important. What?
I got scared with the sign behind me. I was like, what is that?
We're gonna remove this. Like even like the health classes that I had at school, again,
They were
to reiterate,
terrible.
I went to a Christian school. We never really talked about sex. It was like they preach abstinence. They preach stay away from penis, but it's just like in the penis, stay away from me as well. Like, but it sounds so stupid, but like I mean, yeah. But I feel like there's a complete lack of education. And to bring back an older point, I'm raising a son right now, and in this house there will be we will be sex positive and not in a weird way, or like where I'm exposing him to something that at his age he should not. But like when it comes time to really sit down, like I feel like as kids we get like two different talks. We get the, okay, this is where babies come from. Cool. Then when they were like 14, 15, 16, we get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and then our parents sit us down and they're like, look,
I never got the dog.
well, if we had more progressive parents, what should have happened rather should have been the second talk, which is we're going to get you on birth control, or let's discuss what your options for birth control are. Condoms exist. Don't let a boy pressure you into taking it off because it feels better, because pregnancy won't feel as good. And like that sort of conversation, that sort of narrative should be pushed, or agenda should be pushed. But instead we have the complete other spectrum, and we're sitting here getting sex advice from serial cheaters and people that quite literally cannot keep it in their pants long enough to breathe, and they're the ones that are the ones on a pedestal judging people that have explored. If you date more than one person, you're probably going to end up having sex with at least two of them. So it doesn't make sense. How can you want an experienced woman without giving her the platform to have experienced sex?
Doesn't make sense.
It makes my eyes roll, and not in a good way. Have you guys heard of the Madonna horror complex?
Do tell.
You haven't seen any videos on TikTok? They're like all over the place. I'm gonna read the Google definition because I don't like being factually incorrect. But it says here, in psychoanalytic literature, a Madonna whore complex is the inability to maintain sexual arousal within a committed loving relationship. So basically, it's like men categorizing women as two things: either they're this pure Madonna, beautiful virgin, or they're whores. But the thing that prostitutes them is sex that they are having with her. And like I said earlier, do you think you're dirty? Do you think you're immoral? That laying with you would make me this unclean and this, it's unfathomably immoral and
Yeah.
I'm terrible and I'm a slut, even though I only had sex with you. Do you know what I'm saying? And you were talking about something else you saw on TikTok.
Yeah, in the gypsy community, and this is happening till this day. Um, the moms would be dancing and flaunting around a bed sheet with blood on it, and they're just happy because their daughter is this is on their wedding night, mind you, and the daughter's kind of just like almost a lot of the times those videos the daughter looks so like
Morose. Like,
yeah,
just
it's just
embarrassed.
disgusting. And then there's also in some cultures the groom's father will check the bride to be before
Like
their
to see
wedding
she has a hymen.
yeah,
Oh my god.
to see if they're a virgin or not, which is we all know you can literally break your hymen riding
riding
a bike. It's so stupid.
Inserting a tampon
Mm.
that's useful for the period that you have when you reach puberty. Like what? Like that to me is, I mean, I'm not speaking down on like religious traditions. Like I understand that some of that stuff does have religious connotations, so I can't speak on that, but I can't imagine what's supposed to be the happiest night of my life, my wedding night, right?
Mhm.
Not the happiest night, but
But
you get what I'm saying. Like one of the happiest moments in my life with my partner, and I have to have my mother run around and dancing with a bloody sheet. First of all, if you're bleeding, like something's wrong. Some people have hymens that are like a little flap over, not over the hole, but yes, that's when you get a lot of blood. Some people are not even aroused because they don't even understand that they have to be lubricated before being entered
yeah,
like that, and then that's what causes bleeding because you start to tear because your vagina is not expanding within the arousal. Like
yeah, your first time is not supposed to hurt.
it's not so it.
I mean, but in the sense of like you're in so much excruciating pain,
That you want to
like
stop, yeah.
it's because you're not
You're not
aroused.
and that's why I don't think that the productive conversation to have is the one after the fact, after you've slept with, let's say, 15 people. Who cares? Oh my god, how did you feel doing that? Like, are you okay? Did you have consensual relationships? Do you have sexual trauma? Like, what do you
Mhm.
like in bed? These are the conversations and the
That
questions
should
that we
be
should be
had.
like that we should be having, as opposed to making this whole men versus women thing. And I know that I sound like a misandrist sometimes, but I don't hate men. I hate what men do sometimes because part of me, and I know we'll cover this in our patriarchy episode, but part of me feels sad for them because I know that they don't know any better. But part of me knows that they have the burden of learning and getting better. And I know that they have women in their lives that try. Does that make sense? So it's like it's frustrating on both sides of the coin because it's like, damn it, like you should have had an emotionally emotionally intelligent father or mother in your life that could have shown you, hey, this is kind of like not the way that we should operate in the real world. But at the same time, it's like if you're already seeing it on Twitter and seeing it on here, it's so ingrained in you that you can't turn around and say, wait a minute, let me look at this objectively. If I have 15 bodies and she has 4, why am I more upset that she has 4 than in this context being upset at myself, even though you shouldn't be? Have 30, have 55. Correct. If
Mhm.
you're not mature enough to understand that the person that you're probably laying down to have sex with has had sex with other people, I think you should reevaluate, go to therapy, wank a couple more times, and then go out into the world. Because the real world, real world, the women are being a little bit more sexually liberated. Yes,
As
I
they
know
should.
earlier I said casual sex does not benefit us. I stand on that and I'm willing to expand on it, but that would be a whole other episode.
Mhm.
Um I think women are allowed to have casual sex, but please do it with somebody that you trust and that actually cares about your body. And I will expand on
Do
this.
it with
I'm not
someone
slut
that's not going to
shaming.
make you feel guilty afterwards.
Thank you. I'm not slut shaming at all. Like, have a one night stand. I think like everybody should have that experience so that you could realize how shitty it is when you're
Mm.
like, wait a minute. Some people don't require emotional connection to have sex. That's cool. That's cool too. I'm not talking to them though. I'm talking to the ones that have convinced themselves that hooking up is the way to go because it's just easier
Mhm.
to be used as a pocket pussy and be left. Sorry.
Not sorry.
But the point I really liked that you brought up all these traditions and stuff like that because most of this shit is like from
You weren't even, it's just,
1776.
but it goes to like you said before, I honestly feel like men growing up, they didn't really have the talk as serious as the, okay, you can get a girl pregnant, but not just the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because men just think, oh, I'm just gonna start fucking anything and everything I see,
Make
and
chicken.
it's gonna make me feel better. That's
Yeah.
not the case, and they're literally trained to be like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, it's the same way as like sexual assault is even looked at between men and women. Like a woman will be sexually assaulted, and although she might not get justice legally within the community, we're gonna embrace the fact that something happened to her.
mhm.
Whereas a boy of like 15 or 16 gets raped by a teacher at school, and sure, it might have felt good because I mean, people orgasm even while being raped. This
Yeah.
is it's a body thing. It's not a mental thing, and you know you have a 13, 14, 15-year-old that's having sex with a teacher that's twice his age, and all of a sudden you got people in the comments like, way to go. I would have killed for that experience. No, you have just
You're a
been
victim.
conditioned, correct. And you've been conditioned by porn to think that the role play between a teacher and a student is sexy and hot, but instead it's
not.
actually perpetuating a status of pedophilia and you're going along with it because it feels good. Jesus.
Or even sometimes boys who do get assaulted, not by their teachers or by just anyone, they get scared because
It's not
kids-
taken serious.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
Want less of a man because this happened to me. That's
They
not
get
cool.
a pat on
Yeah.
the back, like that a boy.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
you got her. Like,
ugh.
it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. And I'm not saying this just because I'm raising a little boy. Like my sister has a friend that one day, I don't even know why we even got into the conversation of like, when did everybody lose their virginities? I lost mine at 15. And I feel like that is so young. It hurt so bad. I did not know what I was doing. The person I did it with literally broke up with me in the summer. Imagine you're a 15-year-old girl and you're like, I just gave and I, again, predominantly Christian household. I went to a Christian school. So it was always instilled in me that if I had sex, I ruined myself. Just me,
No.
not the man. The man is just doing what boys will be boys. But the woman has to, respect herself more. Anyways, I had a conversation with one of my sister's friends. It was like the three of us who were talking. And he pipes up and he says, oh, I lost my virginity at like 11 to an older girl in my neighborhood. And he like laughed it off. And I'm like, even back then, before I've had my own experience, before I had, the knowledge and like just kind of the insight that that's not normal and that shouldn't be celebrated, it felt odd. Because I'm like, what was I doing at 11? Getting suspended at school for pantsing people.
That was like your least worries was, oh, I'm gonna go home and do
And it
homework
was-
and play video games.
You weren't
Correct.
thinking about having sex.
I was not. I was not. I mean, and if I mean, I don't know, but in this sense, I was not having sex. Period. Where were your parents?
How did that happen? Where did
And I
that
know bad
happen?
people exist, and
Yeah.
bad people are gonna climb through whatever to be bad, but
Mhm.
you were failed. You were failed by society because they instilled in you that that would be okay, and you deserved a better first time than that. And that's me talking to men that could possibly relate to this. And the fact that like we have people, grown ass men, in the comments like, "Attaboy, are you okay? Are the cis men okay?
Hmm.
Did like nobody care about you when you were growing up?" Like I can't imagine that they would feel the same if it was their little boy. But then I do feel like they would feel the same because they're literally on West 2 News articles in the comment sections of Facebook and Twitter just being trolls.
Yeah.
But God forbid a woman has sex with more than one person. And that's my
That's
take on
that on
that.
that.
Yeah, because I feel like if I keep going, I'm gonna do 3 episodes in one because it's just so much deeper than the body count. And it's I hate when men are like, "Ugh, just like ignore it," or "It's not that big of a deal." Clearly it is. Because why are we still in 2021 and still talking about this
Having a
BS?
conversation about it. Why is it being brought up?
Like when did you get tested last? I got tested last month.
I had
Even like I've gotten tested at least every 6 months if I can.
Yes. If I'm in a committed relationship, I might space out the testing unless something comes up. And
Yeah.
when I say something comes up, I mean like, come on, we all got vaginas. Like, vaginas be acting up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a UTI or like you get a random, you wore the wrong underwear and now you have a yeast infection. Like, and that's another thing too. Men don't realize how delicate the female anatomy is. And y'all be freaking rolling up blunts and not washing your hands and putting your fingers where they don't belong, where they do belong. But, but the, like, I ask again, why are we talking about this?
Mhm.
Because men can't ignore it and we can't.
But why can't they ignore it?
That's
They're still conditioned to be.
yeah. It's a condition thing. It's a and I'm pretty sure I mean I'm not around guys like that or by all means, but they do ask like friends. Like I've heard conversations like with my brother and his friends. Um and I've heard them ask like what's her body count? Why does it matter? Why
What's yours?
like
Let's chat about that.
it's
Because you mad worried for what?
I'm like how's your credit?
Word.
Let's talk about the things that really matter.
How long have you been employed at your present job?
Do you have health insurance? No. Worry about that.
Have you been to therapy? Do you have a good
Have you
relationship
started a
with your mother?
retirement plan? Like
Like, period. Where
There's
is
other
your
thing-
401k?
non-existent.
Fucking talking to me about how many people I've had sex with. Listen, I forget all of them. I don't even want to think about the
I
people
have
I've
no
had
body
sex with.
count.
Literally, I am not even a being. Like, I'm gonna lose
I'm a-
hallucination.
I'm an hallucination.
But it's like, please, please, free yourself. Free yourself from caring about something as stupid as that. Ask the right questions. And perhaps you'll have a meaningful relationship where sex won't be the focal point and you won't have to worry about how many people she's had sex with. God. Joseph is going to be so smart.
Oh yeah,
I just refuse to contribute to.
that
Ugh. Huh?
to society. Yeah,
Yeah, it's bad enough. Like, it's just. And the truth about it is this very divisive thinking is the exact reason why we will never achieve equality for real, for real.
We're getting there slowly, but it'll take still hundreds and more hundreds of years.
it starts with childhood.
Yeah. It's
How
literally-
are you teaching
yeah.
your children? How are you teaching your boys,
What conversations are you having?
if any?
Yeah. And,
And
fathers
Be
listening
better
to this?
fathers.
Yeah, fathers listening to this, young fathers of my generation. Please talk to your children when the time comes, and when they have questions, don't over react. Yeah, like Joseph's in school right now, and he gets curious and stuff. Like my kid has been saying penis and vagina since he was 2,
As he should.
because that's the names of the genitals. It's not a bad word. And one day, randomly, he goes, "Mommy, I have penis, and you have vagina, right?" I'm like, "Yep." He goes, "Yeah," and that was it. That's him processing and intellectualizing.
That's how they learn.
Yes. I don't want my child to learn about sex having an uncomfortable experience that he has to now heal from. Correct. And he should know, okay, wait, my mom talked to me about grooming. I think this teacher's getting a little too close, or this coach is getting a little too close. I should tell somebody. My kid gets in trouble at school and comes home and tells me.
And that also has the relationship. You have a great relationship with Joseph.
I'm working
I
on that.
mean, trust me.
Ah.
And you should be able to have those conversations with your parents. And it's sad because it's not talked about.
It's
Like I
not.
said, I did not have the talk. I think they kind of forgot. Because
slipped their
I
mind.
didn't know, and then I just it was I had to kind of figure it out on my own. The only sexual education that I had was the boys separated from the girls. We got fucking tampons and pads as a, goodie bag, and they came back with condoms. Like,
And that's so funny to me because even then, men are the sexual beings and women are just women.
they need to be this beautiful little flower and, you know, save it till marriage. Like, why?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to save it till
Do
marriage,
it.
do
But
it.
why does that have to be the main component?
Celibacy is really important because it teaches you to value emotional intimacy before physical intimacy. But I always ask myself, let's say I would have waited till marriage, what would have been my motivation? What do you think my motivation would have been to be a virgin till marriage? If I had done it. I'm not even married, but you know what I'm saying. What do you think it would have been?
To save yourself for marriage?
Yeah, like why do you think I would have made that decision for myself? Because of what I was taught.
Yeah, if that's all you know.
Yeah, because of what I was taught.
Because if you, God forbid, you want to, even if you're not even planning on marrying this person, you have a connection, then you are two consenting adults and you want to have a good
Bow,
time.
shake a bow, bow.
It shouldn't be a shameful thing. And if you do decide to, and I also feel like for girls, I feel like you need to have if you think about it, don't feel pressured to have sex with this boy at 15, 16.
Please don't.
Or because my boyfriend's gonna leave me if I don't.
Let him.
You don't need him.
I'm like your hype man.
You're not missing out on anything.
You will get over it. It was hard because when my parents initially found out that I was no longer a virgin, like I felt like I had disappointed them. And in a sense I did. That's their perspective. But they handled it with grace. It was never like, you're a whore and you're a scumbag. My mom immediately was like, we're going to go get you tested. We're going to make sure that you don't have anything. We're going to make sure that you're not pregnant. Because at that time, I hadn't gotten my period for like 2 months or something like that. She's like, you missed your period. You didn't ask me to buy pads or something like that. Like my mom knew. Yeah, she was conscious of it. We didn't necessarily have the most liberating conversation where I told her all the dirty details, but she held space for me in a way that like she never did before. It was like she understood the assignment. Like I'm not trying to be funny, but she literally understood the assignment and she was like immediately like, okay, we're gonna drive you to your doctor.
That's good.
We're gonna make you an appointment to get you checked out, make sure that your pelvic exam is clear and that you have nothing going on down there. This is the last thing you need, blah, 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 blah. And my mom just handled it really well. But when I say I disappointed them, I'm saying like I know that they wanted better for me. I wanted better for me. So in essence, I disappointed myself. The first person I ever had, intercourse with is no longer in my life, not even as a friend. In fact, I think of him and anger comes up because it was such a tumultuous relationship at such a young age. And sex was my way of like, okay, if I don't have sex with him, he's going to do it with somebody else. And he did. Multiple times. So that's why I don't want to put pressure on chastity because it's not important. It's not as important as health. It's not as important as consent.
And I also feel like if you have that conversation, especially with parents, having that conversation with your child, I feel like it has a big role in like setting the tone for relationships.
Word.
Because if you have it like,
you're normalizing those conversations.
Because I've heard so many people losing their virginities because it was not, because they felt the need to.
Oh, we've been together 6 months.
We've been and guys do that too. Like, oh my God, it's been 2 months, 3 months, and we haven't like.
I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna expose myself a little bit. But I am currently.
Anyways, child.
Yeah, I can't. I can't say it, but I've seen people that I didn't immediately have sex with, and those are the most fun.
Lucky you.
You form a friendship before you form,
and that's a great thing.
Yeah. And I feel like
when
it-
that happens to me, I'll let you guys know.
but it made space for us to have those vulnerable conversations of this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I'm not okay with. This happened to me forever ago, and we should be careful like this. Blah 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 blah. What are we gonna do about protection? What are we gonna do about accidental pregnancy? Can I make this choice by myself? Do you want to be consulted? Blah blah blah. Like
Those are all important questions to ask to even.
that's why sex is important,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not. It's just not beneficial to do it like tra la la. First of all, I'm seeing it from a spiritual perspective. I don't think you're unclean if I have had sex.
You have a child.
Yeah, but I've had sex outside of that. I've had sex with people, not persons or one person. I've had sex with people. I have a body count,
Mhm.
but while some of them are more unsavory than others, it happens and it's experience. And I don't even know where I was going with that, but the point I was making earlier is that I was able to have conversations prior to getting to my bed. And I'm not talking 3 conversations on a date and now we're in bed. I give it up on a first date if you want to. I've done it. And that also went well.
Mhm.
But it's the idea of like, I don't even need it. We're close enough for right now. Does that make sense? But I'm a person that requires emotional connection for sex. I tried the casual shit and I was like dying.
Mhm.
I felt so empty
Yeah,
because
drains you. You're giving. You're
giving.
It's not a connection. It's more like a chore.
And if we're looking at it from a physical perspective, this casual hookup that I'm having, there's no finish line here. And now I'm walking away just knowing that somebody masturbated inside of me for the last
couple weeks.
5 minutes.
Well,
But yeah, I mean, that's why I don't want to hear this fucking stupid ass. What's your body count?
if someone
Bro,
asks
what's your
me,
credit
if
score?
they ask you what your body count is, don't even entertain it. Don't even like, oh, nice knowing you.
I would honestly be like, I was gonna say something mean. I'm not doing it. I'm working on myself. But yeah. What's your credit score?
More important things than what.
Yeah. What's your
Like-
5-year plan? How do you feel about kids? How do you feel about dogs? How do you feel about cats?
And it's only like people in like their 20s asking this. You really think people in their 40s asking like
They're mature.
they don't care.
That's the point. They have matured. They have matured past the point of judging other people for living freely.
Mhm.
So we have 20-year-olds that are insecure as fuck because they're too worried about perception of others to have fun. Have safe fun, please.
It's
But
a maturity thing, yeah.
It's a maturity thing. They get to 40. And the expectations. At 40, you expect that this person has lived a long life. Full of people.
Mhm.
People that they've had sex with, people that maybe they almost did, or people that they're like, ew, I would never. Ask the right questions.
Okay, guys. That was a lot.
I should be a dating coach, even
You
though
sh-
none of my relationships have been successful. Oh, yeah.
Okay, guys. That's it for today.
Thank you, Jasmine, for joining us
Yes,
from
thank
the
you.
Peanut Gallery. I
We
wonder if
love
your voice
you.
was picked up.
I hope so.
Because if not, it's going to look like we're talking to a ghost the whole time.
It's giving Okay. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and
I'm taking out.
listening.
What time is it?
What time is it?
And my cat is about to knock down the camera. So,
We're
yeah.
gonna end it here.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Bye.